Hi, my name is Rebecca Winter of Strong Mama Yoga, and today I'm here to talk to you about changing your stance in prenatal yoga to accommodate your growing body during pregnancy. This is one of the most important differences between what your practice may have looked like before you were pregnant and how your practice is going to evolve during pregnancy. As our belly grows, it's going to alter our center of gravity. And that's one of the reasons that women often feel a bit more wobbly when they're pregnant. To help adapt to that in yoga, we widen our feet. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in your practice. So we're going to start with one of the most simple yoga poses, and that's Tadasana mountain pose. And you may have learned, depending on the type of yoga you practiced pre-pregnancy, to practice with your toes together, feet close together, or the way that I normally teach it in my non-prenatal classes is by having your feet at hip width distance apart. For those in your first trimester and even the beginning of your second trimester, hip distance apart might be enough for you. You basically want to feel well grounded the entire time you're practicing yoga, which is why we widen that stance so that we have a nice secure base. So if this works for you at hip width, great. But as your belly gets wider, you're going to want to bring the feet wider as well. And that's okay. The biggest thing is to know, give yourself permission. So those of you who are really stuck in my feet need to be together to practice yoga correctly, let that go. Anatomically, it's going to be better for your body to widen those feet, maybe even as wide as the mat. So one other note that I want to discuss in Tadasana is it is a wonderful opportunity to really allow your body to balance on the bones and let the other muscles supporting your core go here. So I'm going to show you what I mean by giving you a little side profile. So I'm taking my feet nice and wide. I'm going to roll my shoulders back and down so my shoulder blades are nicely on my back and a nice long spine. Now, as my belly grows, I'm going to be more inclined to be tipping forward and having a longer curve in my low back. So to help get around that and loosen up my low back when I'm pregnant, when I practice Tadasana, I'm going to make sure my knees are nice and soft. I'm going to let go of the weight in my thighs. I'm going to let go in my hips and my glutes. I'm going to let go in my belly. And I'm going to let my bones support me here. Now, arm position in Tadasana, again, you may have been taught hands should come out, and that's fine. That's one great way to practice, especially if you're feeling tight around the pecs and you want to open up. It also is totally fine to let arms hang by the side, as long as you're still widening in the collarbones and letting those shoulders drop down. And this is also a great opportunity to let those eyes close and enjoy the break. So you'll see that by releasing through my legs and core, I can smooth out that lordotic curve in my low back, which is going to help relieve some of that back and hip pain we might get, especially near the end of pregnancy. So now let's look at down dog. So from here, I'm going to come down. Now, some of us might go through a vinyasa to get to down dog. Some of us in pregnancy are going to often start from our knees instead to give us a bit more stability. So again, oftentimes in down dog, you may have been taught either toes together or feet hip width apart. I'm going to encourage you to stick at least to hip width apart, even starting in the first trimester, because even though our bodies haven't changed in the first trimester, we're still dealing with a lot of surges of hormones. And you may also be dealing with some nausea and wooziness. So having feet at hip width distance apart is going to help make you feel much more secure and give you more stability. As belly grows, you widen that stance. You may even get to the point where you widen the stance completely off the mat. Great. So we're not going to go into all of the mechanics of down dog. I just wanted to show you that nice wide leg stance.
So from here, you might be wondering, so then how do I get into my lunges and my warriors? So another technique here is instead of stepping that foot between the hands, we're going to take it from the wide-legged stance and we step the foot outside the hands. So again, we're keeping our legs nice and wide, plenty of room for baby. This is going to allow us to take our twist or to stand ourselves up into our warrior one. So warrior one, you also have some options here. I'm just going to step a little bit more forward on my mat. So when I bring my foot back, I'm taking it nice and wide. You can also take your feet, as I showed a moment ago, completely off the mat. And then it's going to depend on your anatomy what you want to do with that back foot. I tend to stay in what's considered a crescent position because I have some knee issues going on. So I keep my heel up. I can show you that from the side here. So I keep my heel up when I'm in my warrior one. You may feel more secure and more stable by putting that back heel down at a 45-degree angle and taking a more traditional warrior one. So let's look at what that looks like from the front profile here. Great. So you see my feet are wide. Not a big deal if that foot needs to come off the mat. And I have nice and secure stability here if I wiggle my hip, and plenty of room for baby as I take variations of my warrior. Then opening out into warrior two. Again, traditionally, you were taught warrior two, line up that heel with the inside of the arch of the foot. Sure, that's great if you have a lot of stability, and even in your first trimester, you may still want to be doing it that way. But as belly grows, or as you are feeling a little bit of that wooziness sometimes in the first trimester, bring that foot out at an angle, and this is your new warrior two. If I'm wobbly, I feel much more secure this way, especially as I'm taking my variations on my warrior two. And then same thing goes for triangle. So now straightening out into triangle, I'm keeping my legs nice and wide. So when I come down, I have plenty of room and plenty of stability. Triangle is a great pose to consider using a block with, especially in pregnancy. So I often don't use a block when I'm not pregnant, but when I'm pregnant, it makes me feel much more stable. One other alteration with triangle in pregnancy is you may choose to hold on to the calf, or if you are super flexible, you can put your hand all the way on the floor, but I do prefer to use a block for that variation. Great. So those are just a few of the ways that you want to think about widening your stance when you're pregnant and practicing yoga. And I encourage you to take that idea and apply it to all of your asanas, all of your poses. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please check out strongmama.yoga for more. Thanks.